Hey there, welcome to Quiz Time. I'm your quiz master, Sean, and I've got 100 questions for seniors. So let's see what we remember, what we know. Let's keep our brains young, and let's just have some fun, shall we? Beginning with question number one. What president was involved in the Watergate scandal? President Kennedy, President Nixon, or President Clinton? The Watergate scandal, that was President Nixon. This fashion accessory changes color based on how you feel. Is it a mood ring, a healing stone, or crawl earrings? And that fashion accessory is the mood ring. What show featured Henry Winkler as the Fonz? Three's Company, The Brady Bunch, or Happy Days? Hey, it was Happy Days. In what year was Pac-Man released? 1960, 1978, or 1980? Pac-Man was released in 1978. What country did the 1960s group The Seekers come from? England, Australia, or Canada? The Seekers came from Australia. Zager and Evans scored a hit in 1969 with what song? World Without Love? Imagine, In the Year 2525. They scored a hit with In the Year 2525. Who was the lead singer of Creedence Clearwater Revival? John Fogerty, Syd Barrett, or David Gilmour? The lead singer of CCR. That was John Fogerty. How did Jim Reeves die? In a plane crash, in a car crash, or a boat crash? Jim Reeves died in a plane crash. Finish this 1960s song by the Trogs. Blank Thing. Love Thing? Sweet Thing? Wild Thing? Wild Thing. What grouse drummer was Keith Moon? What group's drummer was Keith Moon? The Beach Boys, The Who, or Lynyrd Skynyrd? The Who. Fill in the blank. What word is missing from this 1970s song title? Blank in the Cradle. Cats in the Cradle and the Silver Spoon. What genre is the song Staying Alive? Is it disco, metal, or country? Staying Alive. That is disco. Who sang the song Short Fat Fanny? Al Martino, Larry Williams, or Elvis Presley? Short Fat Fanny. That's a song by Larry Williams. What is the name of the Carl Perkins hit about shoes? Blue suede shoes, black loafers, or green smooth sneakers? And that would be blue suede shoes. What instrument did Les Paul play? The violin, the guitar, or the drums? Well, of course, Les Paul was a guitarist. What was the address of the Munsters house? 1313 Ghostly Path, 1313 Haunted Way, or 1313 Mockingbird Lane? The Munsters lived at 1313 Mockingbird Lane. What soap opera did Larry Hagman star in after I Dream of Jeannie? One Life to Live, General Hospital, or Dallas? Larry Hagman starred in Dallas. Dixon of Dock Green was set in what city? Madrid, Moscow, or London? Dixon of Dock Green was set in London. What is the name of this 1970s movie? Where the blank bloom. And that would be Where the Lilies Bloom. Cream sang a song about this color room. Was it white? Was it blue? Or was it purple? It was a white room. Mr. Magoo has issues with what part of his body? His legs, his ears, or his eyes? Well, he has issues with his eyes. What body part was Thing in the Addams Family? Was Thing a hand, a leg, or an eye? Thing was a hand. Where did Tony Nelson find Jeannie in the show I Dream of Jeannie? In his yard, on the beach, or in a spaceship? Tony Nelson found her on the beach. Where does the show Interpol Calling take place? In Paris, London, or Dublin? Interpol Calling takes place in Paris. In 1957, smoking and this type of cancer were first linked. Breast cancer, lung cancer, or throat cancer? It was linked to lung cancer. What is a 1960s TV show about a witch named Samantha Stevens? Samantha Stevens was bewitched. What country was the philosopher Simone de Beauvoir from? And he was from France. What country was Einar Gerhardsson Prime Minister of? Denmark, Norway, or Sweden? Gerhardsson? Prime Minister of Norway. True or false? Flipper was a monkey. Is that true or is that false? That is false. Flipper was a dolphin. Where did the members of the Monty Python meet? At Yale, at Harvard, or Cambridge? Members of Monty Python met at Cambridge. They're British. Complete this 1960s group Blank and Garfunkel. Simon and Garfunkel. Dumont was a type of what? TV advertising, TV network, or TV dinner? Dumont was a type of TV network. What Italian singer released Be My Love in 1951? Jerry Valli, Al Martino, or Mario Lanza? Jerry Vale, excuse me. That was Mario Lanza. The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet starred what heartthrob singer? Ricky Nelson, Bobby Darin, or James Darin? The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet. It featured Ricky Nelson, the heartthrob. What 1970s television show is set on a cruise ship and has the characters Burl and Doc? Love Boat, Love on the Boat, or Love Ship? The Love Boat. It's the Love Boat. What popular 1960s song was featured in The Graduate? Mr. Tambourine Man, Mrs. Robinson, One Kiss for Old Time's Sake? Mrs. Robinson. In the first live coast-to-coast broadcast, what were viewers shown? Mountains, bridges, or trains? They were shown bridges. The original host of Meet the Press was who? Douglas Edwards, Ed Sullivan, or Martha Roundtree? The original host of Meet the Press was Martha Roundtree. What is another type of bell-bottom jeans? Elephant ears, flare bottoms, or buttercups? Another type of bell-bottom jeans, elephant ears. This type of shoe was popular in the 1970s. Platforms, stilettos, or loafers? In the 1970s, platforms were popular. What was the name of the psychiatrist on I Dream of Jeannie? Dr. Cates, Dr. Bellows, or Dr. Harrington? And that was Dr. Bellows. In what city does Rocky take place? Philadelphia, Boston, or Las Vegas? Rocky takes place in Philadelphia. What group sang YMCA? The Village People, the Kinks, or the DeFranco family? That's a song by the Village People. The 1972 Oscar went to this movie: Call of the Wild, The Godfather, or Sweet Sugar? In 1972. That Oscar went to The Godfather. If your mood ring turns teal, how are you feeling? Stressed, tired, or calm? Turns teal, you're feeling calm. The Bunkers were characters in what 1970s show? All in the Family, Good Times, or Gilligan's Island? Well, the Bunkers were all in the family. What did Archie Bunker call his son-in-law? Foghead, Meathead, or Dopehead? Archie Bunker called his son-in-law Meathead. What was the alter ego of Hong Kong Phooey? Was it a teacher, a janitor, or a reporter? Hong Kong Phooey was a janitor. Which of these singers is most associated with the disco era? David Bowie, Willie Nelson, or Donna Summer? And that would be Donna Summer. What African American singer kissed Archie Bunker on an episode of All in the Family? Stevie Wonder, Sammy Davis Jr., or was it Barry White? It was Sammy Davis Jr. The Beverly Hillbillies featured this family: Nelson, Jed, or Clampett? The Beverly Hillbillies, they featured the Clampett family. In 1961, this television show made you follow the bouncing ball. The Ed Sullivan Show, the Carol Burnett Show, or the Mitch Miller Show? And that was the Mitch Miller Show. Who was the Pearl Mills Company's famous aunt? Jemima, Vivian, or Kay? And that would be Jemima. In what television series did Jack Webb and Harry Morgan uphold the law? Magnum P.I., Dragnet, or The Streets of San Francisco? And that was Dragnet. Tell Him No was sung by which one-hit wonder duo? Billy and Willie, Jim and Steve, or Travis and Bob? That was sung by Travis and Bob. What is the title of this 1950s hit, one-hit wonder? The Blank Eater, Blackbird, Orange Cat, or Purple People Eater? Purple People Eater. Young boys believe they got cooties from whom? Girls, bugs, or teachers? Boys got cooties from girls. What is a flat top a type of? Is it a jacket, a car, or a haircut? A flat top is a type of haircut. Fill in the blank. What is the name of this 1960 song by Louis Armstrong? What a blank blank. What a wonderful world. I should probably apologize. What is that day called when Buddy Holly, Ritchie Valens, and the Big Bopper died? The day they went to heaven? The day the music died? The end of rock and roll? That was the day the music died. Muhammad Reza Pahlavi married Soraya Esfandiari Bakhtiari in what country? Egypt, Iran, or Iraq? Iran. A 78 was a type of what? A record, a car, or a motorcycle? A 78 was a type of record. Ipana was a type of what? Carpet cleaner, shampoo, or toothpaste? Ipana was toothpaste. What was Elvis Presley's first movie? Blue Hawaii, Love Me Tender, or Girls, Girls, Girls? Elvis's first movie was Love Me Tender. This vegetable toy debuted in the 1950s. Mr. Tomato Face, Mr. Cucumber Limbs, or Mr. Potato Head? That would be Mr. Potato Head. Hey, but now I've got some ideas. Superman made a guest appearance on what popular 1950s sitcom? Father Knows Best, I Love Lucy, or Leave It to Beaver? Superman made an appearance on I Love Lucy. John Sebastian's song, Welcome Back, is from what 1970s sitcom? Welcome Back, Kotter, Welcome Back, Jack, or Welcome Back, Mr. Hill? Welcome Back, Kotter. Telly Savalas is from what 1970s show? Love Boat, Kojak, or MASH? Who Loves Ya, Baby? That's Kojak. True or false? Pet rocks were invented in California. Is that true or is that false? That's true. True or false? The Iranian hostage crisis lasted 1 week. Is it true or false? That would be very false. It lasted 444 days. How long was the boat tour in Gilligan's Island? 45 minutes, 1 day, or 3 hours? They were on a 3-hour tour. What war ended with the signing of the Paris Peace Agreement? The Vietnam War, the Cold War, or the Korean War? The Paris Peace Agreement ended the Vietnam War. I Ate Your Butler comes from which 1970s British sitcom? Love Thy Neighbor, Blessed His House, or On the Buses? That's from On the Buses. Which of these books was written by Agatha Christie? The Little Prince, Murder on the Orient Express, The Lost Symbol? And that would be Murder on the Orient Express. What country singer had a hit with Hello Walls, Johnny Cash, Farron Young, or Leroy Van Dyke? And that would be Farron Young. Complete this 1960s country song. From a blank to a king. From a jack to a king. From a jester to a king. From a pauper to a king. From a jack to a king. In what decade were hippies popular? The 1960s, 1970s, or the 1950s? Hippies were popular in the 1960s. Where would you use dippity-doo? On your eyelashes, in your hair, or on your eyebrows? You would use dippity-doo in your hair. This Johnny Cash song features a boy with a girl's name. A boy named Lisa, a boy named Sue, or a boy named Gracie. A boy named Sue. In what decade were poodle skirts popular? Poodle skirts. They were once popular. And they were popular in the 1950s. True or false? In the 1960s, a woman had to have her husband co-sign on a credit card application. She couldn't sign for herself. True or false? That's true. In what year did the US begin using zip codes? 1960, 1969, or 1963? The US began using zip codes in 1963. In 1968, this iconic hamburger was introduced. Was it the Whopper, the Big Mac, or the Baconator? It was the Big Mac. How did the Beverly Hillbillies become rich? They won the lottery. They struck oil. They sued a millionaire. The Beverly Hillbillies struck oil. Where did MASH take place? MASH took place in Korea, or during the Korean War. Transistor radios were made by Sony and came from what country? Japan, Vietnam, or China? Transistor radios were made by Sony in Japan. T.I. Caltech invented the first handheld phone, calculator, or computer. They invented the first handheld calculator. Where was Barry Manilow born? Staten Island, New York, Queens, New York, or Brooklyn, New York? Barry Manilow was born in Brooklyn, New York. The Arab oil embargo resulted in what? Long lines at gas stations, lack of cooking oil, or discrimination against people of Middle East descent? It resulted in long lines at the gas station. In what U.S. state is 3 Mile Island located? Ohio, Pennsylvania, or Texas? 3 Mile Island is located in the state of Pennsylvania. What is the last name of the author of The Hobbit? Tolkien, Rossi, or Smith? J.R.R. Tolkien. All in the Family was the American version of this UK sitcom. The Likely Lads, Till Death Do Us Part, or Please, Sir. Till Death Do Us Part. A deadly prison riot occurred in September 1971 in what U.S. state? Kentucky, New York, or Vermont? New York. What country was Desi Arnaz from? Mexico, Puerto Rico, or Cuba? Desi Arnaz was from Cuba. Fill in the blank. 1970s hit song. Blank Delight. Afternoon Delight. What style of music was popular in the 1950s? Swing, metal, or doo-wop? In the 1950s, doo-wop was popular. What was the name of Samantha's husband on Bewitched? Dylan, Darren, or Dan? Her husband was Darren. Life cereal featured a commercial where we found out he likes it. Who is he? Mikey, Frankie, or Lanny? He likes it. He likes it. Mikey likes it. Vertical hold was used on televisions before this was invented. That was before the remote control was invented. I like blank was a slogan for Dwight D. Eisenhower's campaign. Was it I like Ike, I like Dwight, or I like Dee Dee? I like Ike. And that was question 100. Thanks for playing quiz time. Drop your score in the comments, please. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss more quiz time. We'll see you in the next one.